Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How y'all doing? Well, I'm back in the kitchen again. And this morning, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a soup. And what I'm going to use in this soup is good, fresh neck bones. Because in previous videos, I told you that my family, a lot of my family members live right down the street. My 92-year-old mom and my brother and my sister-in-law, well, there's sickness in the house. So I'm gonna make a soup for them. It's called a feel-good soup. So now I've already washed these neck bones, and I have paper towels soaking up the water under the bottom, because I want to try to get all that water off of them. Because I'm gonna do this soup just a little bit different. These neck bones, rather. Do them just a little bit different. Okay, so what I'm gonna start out with, I'm gonna season them up. And this is complete seasoning. This is garlic powder. And I'm going to use some onion powder. A little black pepper. And I got this big pot here already getting hot. Put just a little bit of Lawry's, not much, because I'm gonna add some better than bouillon in this pot. Sazon, some ginger. A lot of ginger. That ginger is good and it's good for you. Put just a little bit of curry. And just a little kicking chicken. I'm going to mix this up, kind of massage it into that meat a little bit. But be careful, because neck bones isn't smooth, so don't let those bones stab your hand. Sound like it's hot. And in this pot, I just have just a little bit of olive oil, just enough to wet the bottom of that pan. And I'm putting the meaty side down as much as possible. All right, we're gonna let that cook. Just fry them down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add some carrots to this soup, fresh carrots. See what's going on in this pot. Okay, so I'm going to put these carrots in now because it takes them a little longer to cook. And over here I got a whole onion. I'm going to chop this up. See how nice and brown these neck bones are? You see that glaze down at the bottom of the pan? That's where all that flavor and that goodness is right down there. That little crunchy part. When I add that water to really get to making this soup and it gets all that glaze from the bottom of that pan. Okay, so I got my onions and carrots in there, so I'm gonna add some celery to the mix. See, it's really grind up really fine. That's the way I want it. And that takes care of some of that stringiness of that celery, especially when you're feeding little children sometimes. And sometimes you have to take the same care even when you're feeding older people. Because my mom, she's 92. She chews pretty good, but still sometimes older people, they have a tendency to get strangled on food more so than children. I mean more so than younger people do, just like children sometimes. Oh, that's smelling good. Okay, so I'm gonna let all that kind of fry down together a little bit. Just let it stew down a little. And then I'm going to start adding other stuff in there. I'm going to add water in there first. And since I've kind of fried those neck bones down, I'm going to add water to that and really get them going with the boiling. I'm going to boil them now. But now I've added my onion and my celery, the carrots, and I just added a can of diced tomatoes to this. And I also added some minced garlic, about 2 tablespoons. And at this point I've turned the fire up, the heat, so that these neck bones can really start really boiling and get tender. So when they're just about done, and then I add the rest of my seasoning to that pot. Okay, it's looking good and smelling good already. And I'll be back. Okay, so I just tasted the juice, and it doesn't have nearly enough seasoning because I seasoned the meat. But now I have to make sure that the juice is seasoned. And then that will take care of my vegetables and everything. It's complete. It's the garlic powder. Onion powder, same thing that I put in when I started with my meat seasoning. Some like pepper. Put just a little bit of Lawry's, not much. Because I know I'm going to use that Better Than bouillon. I'm going to put a little bit of kick to it. A little bit of Louisiana hot sauce. You know that pepper is good for colds and flu, even red pepper. This is the Better Than bouillon. When you use this, I always warn, be very careful because it's very salty. It's delicious in meat, soups, gravies, vegetables. But when you use that, unless you got something that has a lot of liquid in it like this, it's best almost not to use any other kind of salt until you're almost finished and you taste it. Because that Better Than bouillon is salty. I wish they would make one that has no salt or low in sodium. Okay, we got the pot trying to get back to rolling again. I had to add a little bit more water to it. Okay, so I'm going to add a half of a lemon into the soup. And just a little bit of apple cider vinegar with the mother. All of this is good for when you're not feeling good, you're sick, that lemon and that apple cider. And plus it gives it a good flavor. Lawry's, because I have already added my Better Than bouillon, so I don't have to worry that it's too salty by adding that Lawry's. Okay, we're gonna let this keep cooking. Let's see what these neck bones doing. Oh yeah, they're ready. They're ready for all the other ingredients. I was waiting for them to get tender. Add a can of corn. I already poured the water off these vegetables. Can of cut green beans. I'm going to add some green beans, cut green beans, and also some broccoli. But with this broccoli, I don't want the whole spears in there, so I'm going to put it in my little food chopper and chop that up because I don't want the broccoli in chunks. Okay, so now what I'm gonna put in this soup, I know most of you are familiar with hummus. So what is hummus? It's beans, right? Chickpeas, brother. Okay. Last but not least, I'm gonna add some penne pasta. And I'm gonna add it directly into that soup. I'm not gonna boil it first. That's why I put extra liquid in, so it can compensate for boiling this penne. This is about 1/4 cup of rice. That rice is going to pull everything together. I don't want too much rice because I don't want it to be heavy. Okay, this is tomato paste in the tube. So I'm going to add a little bit of that because I put diced tomatoes in earlier. I think I'm going to add all of the pasta. Let's see that it can handle it. I've made a soup before, but it was a chicken soup. Similar to this one, a little different. But you can use any kind of meat you want. Okay, so let's see what the soup is looking like. Okay. Doesn't that look good? Look at that. Oh my goodness. See, just enough rice. Just to kind of bind it together. Doesn't that look good? Still got your neck bones intact. Sometimes I want my meat to cook off the bone, but I didn't want it to cook off the bone with this pot. All the neck bones are good and tender, but they're still intact. That helps sometimes when you, oh, that's a sharp bone. Look at that. Glad I saw that. I don't want that to get in nobody's mouth. I'm going to add a little more liquid to that pot because when I turn it off, the starches, it's going to soak that liquid up. Doesn't that look so good? I'm gonna taste the juice to make sure my seasoning is good. And that's about as far as I can go. See what that tastes like. Oh, that's so good. Need a little something. That is so good. Need just a little dab of something. Let me see. Add a little bit more complete. A little more onion powder. I think it could stand a little more kick. Hit of Lawrence. Not much. It's nothing worse than cooking something and it's good, but it's too salty. You can always add to it. You can't get that salt out of it. Unless it's peas or greens or something. Sometimes you can rinse them off. But it's hard after you get it too salty. Well, that's it. That's my neck bone soup and cheese biscuits. That's gonna be some good eating, honey. It's kind of like a soup and a stew, kind of twixt in between. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Not full soup, but not full stew. But it's fully good. That's for sure. And those biscuits look good with it. And they smell good. I tell you, if I would have had that buttermilk, I don't know. I don't know if I could resist one of these biscuits. But that's okay, I'm gonna save one for them. Well, okay, I'm gonna get this soup and get these biscuits and get them all packed up. I hope y'all enjoy it. Oh, we will. I love you. So thank you guys so much for coming to my channel. And thank you for hanging out, watching my video, and staying with me while I fix that soup, because I know it's gonna taste good. Well, okay, thank you so much. And if you don't mind, that subscribe button right there in the right-hand corner of your screen, and subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. And please give me a thumbs up and turn on your post notifications so you'll know when I drop another video, okay? Well, thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you in my next video, okay? Bye-bye.